this year, for the Witters competition, we were tasked with one of the biggest intersections in all of Gainesville. And it really is the center of it all. But the issue is that it's loud, it's uncomfortable, and there are really so many issues. I mean, just look at this intersection. We have some ideas.
You know, on Witters2025 University, it's pretty much a terrible experience to cross. So that's what we're doing this year, is we're looking at how to create a pedestrian-friendly crossway, but then also a beautification of urban space.
We have this amazing opportunity to take this intersection that normally pushes people away and transform it into this area that brings people to it and creates new life to this area.
First thing that we did was kind of all gather around, get a map out, and then figure out our core problem, which I think was starting off was the intersection. We kind of toyed around with ideas of what that looks like and how to kind of fix that.
One of the things I wanted to do as a civil engineer is kind of first of all, take the design aspect and within that do some analysis and research behind it. So one of the things that I found within this 4-lane intersection is that the level of service versus the demand and capacity, it was such in a good way that there was capable of traffic flow between both sides, but it wasn't very pedestrian safety, and it wasn't did not give off such a safe environment.
And really then looking at all the problems that there is, I think there was sort of a simple solution that has been used for many cities in Japan. One of the examples is Shibuya Crossing, where the stoplights stop, all the cars stop, and all modes are allowed to go in any direction. But we thought we could extend it a little further and not only focus on the intersection, but really like the whole block. The other thing is that we really wanted to have a comprehensive view, not only of just how people move, but really how people feel when they move. One of the biggest problems, as you saw at the beginning, was just how uncomfortable it is when you walk by. And you can imagine how it is on any other mode when you have to navigate through pedestrians. So the expanse of allowing them to cross at different points of the intersection gives flexibility, not only that you're not concentrating all the traffic into one section of the intersection, but rather the whole block.
This new pedestrian-friendly intersection allows us to create a cohesive village concept.
We have on the southeast corner our more urban park. This is more unstructured. This sits in with all the buildings and allots for the mirroring of the university side, but takes the Gainesville community along with the architecture.
Yeah, I think one of the most important parts of the park is respecting that corner of the university that is so iconic and that people love taking pictures on. With the park, it allows us to build without encroaching on this really important area that is something of a tradition to UF.
Yeah.
These parks and these shared systems play into the campus itself, but also something that was taken away from Gainesville as its own, especially in that area where you start to feel dehumanized through these tall buildings, but when you even travel 100 feet in a certain direction, you start to see a more humanized scale. So we wanted to bring that scale back and have this area where it starts to feel less crowded and begins to give to the people.
We looked at how do we create that green space of connectivity between the corner of campus, the new corner bistro, and that bistro site, and then Holiday Inn, where you feel like it's one extenuation of campus, safe to interact in that entire area.
People want to show up and explore, and we did that by incorporating different areas that intersect and merge together, including an outdoor park space, boutiques, as well as rooftop terraces. This allows people to show up and socialize, hang out with their friends, or just seek a spot in nature to study or relax.
The idea behind the buildings was creating what is essentially based off of a live-work community, but changing that model into a work-learn community where the students from the College of Business can get an opportunity to run their own business and get a real-world experience. In terms of the buildings and what they offer, the shops, it is a way for students to get experience, but also give back to the community.
It's almost as if a miniature community within a larger one. It's where you start to reside and things start to work together to kind of create this new atmosphere.
The terrace serves as a very effective third space that invites people over, and encourages a socialization. And when you have spaces that support these needs, people do tend to show up, and it improves their overall emotional well-being and quality of life. Something like that is very important in a college town.
Have a tiered density bioswale system that has natural and native Florida planting that can filter the drainage and the sewer runoff as that percolates through the building and down to the floor that is now piped off.
One of the great things about a civil engineer and going into the workforce after graduating is that having that dynamic of working with multiple disciplinaries, with the architect, the urban planner, just because I haven't been exposed to that environment, so being able to compete with this competition, learning people's personalities, perspectives, different views on things was a really great experience for me.
Even at the beginning, we were all coming with different ideas of how the space can transform, but we all had to decide on what the winning idea was, and that was through dialogue, through understanding.
It's really interesting to see how everyone's strengths and their interests really come together and culminate when looking at this problem. Everyone picks out little different things that they see, that they've experienced, that they have knowledge in, and with that we can create a wider solution.